Hi, everyone. How are you? Been a busy day here in Tallahassee. It's gorgeous out. I hope it's gorgeous where you are. I'm turning my phones off. I carry two, so I have to make sure they're both down, That's rude to be on your phone while you're on a video. So, let me see. Hi, everybody. This is so nice. It's so nice. Yeah, we've been busy. Tomorrow, our office, I'm sure most of you, at least here in the United States, know that I'm a real estate broker, and the National Association of Realtors settled this massive $500 million lawsuit without asking any of the realtors what they thought, even though we're the ones that pay the bills. So our office has to have a meeting tomorrow. We met with the Board of Realtors attorney today, and a lot of the real estate agents are, of course, upset. It's not about the commission. So the whole lawsuit was about commission, and I don't know what other states do. However, in Florida, commission is negotiated. It's not declared, and it's not stated. Everything is negotiable. When you work on sales commission, everything's negotiable. And so we negotiate it in advance, and then when you close, the real estate broker, if we have the listing, is paid by the seller, and then the broker agrees to pay the buyer's agent. So I'm getting paid. So even if I have both sides as a listing and a buyer, I get paid the same amount. So whether I share it with someone or not, but that's not how they portray it in the media. So it's a lot to go forward. We're not sure how it's all going to play out because the court hasn't even approved it. But I have to start talking to the agents. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's what we've been doing in real estate world because it's been busy with questions and answers and a big fat I don't know. Hello from Canada. I cannot wait till I know. I made a little PowerPoint. I'm going to do a little upload it. Did I get it? Did it download? So I made a little file. At least I thought I did. And to kind of introduce people if they don't know the Crystal Rogers story, what will happen? Like nobody knows really what is going to happen with this family. I'm going to do this as a PowerPoint. She's been gone almost the same time as Dan Markel. I mean, it's 10 years this year. So, no, 10 years next year. So it's a lot, and it's a lot. They don't even know where Crystal is. But they just started arresting people last fall. The actual trial, they don't expect it to start till 2025. So there were just motions recently in the court case to allow, they wanted to change a venue, which I guess no one's really surprised about. Why is this not downloading to me? So they want to change a venue, and they want, the state doesn't want to change a venue. The state wants all three conspirators and the murderer, the alleged murderer, to be tried together. So that will be interesting. But the defense, of course, wants what they want, which is a change of venue. Like, as a personal note, that courtroom is really small. So I would really like to go to that trial, but I don't know if it's possible for me to go. Let me start that over. because it's going to be such a small courtroom. It's like 5 rows. It's really small. And it's been going on for 10 years. And the family's been really good about media and keeping everyone up to date. And there's this amazing podcast called Bardstown, which is the town where Nelson County, Kentucky, which is the town where Crystal resided. And Brooks Houck, her ex former partner, who's now her alleged murderer, lives. So it's Nelson County, which is the home of bourbon. It's the Bourbon Trail. It's the home of my old Kentucky home. So it's a very small town, much smaller than Tallahassee. I mean, like, they have a KFC. Like, they have nothing. You have to go to Shepherdsville to go do really any shopping. It's very, very small. So hello, everyone. Kara says she just looked at the Leon County Courthouse. Looks like they're really digging into Harvey and Donna's phones. Right. So I pulled all those warrants. So there was an update. Let me go to it. There was an update recently. And this is an answer to a demand. I'm going to share my screen. And this is what it says. So let me expand this. An external hard drive. It had to be a very large file. So they sent an external hard drive, which is new discovery of the Cellbrite, which I think it's missing an E. The Cellbrite of Adelson's Donna cell phone collected from her time of arrest. And then another external hard drive with duplicate copies of Harvey's. So he had 2 phones. He also had a MacBook Pro and an iPad. So we'll see what they got on that. And scanned copies of documents pursuant to the search warrant of their Adelson residence. So then I was like, ooh, I forgot all the warrants that they had. They had so many warrants. But these look like very large files. If they had to put them on a hard drive and not a thumbnail, it's pretty big. It is a pretty big file. More cards too. Yes, we all hope Nick Houck is charged soon. They're working on it. So let me show you Miss Crystal Rogers. So Crystal Rogers' stories began. She worked at a convenience store. Met Brooks Houck. And Brooks was her boyfriend, and then they moved in together. They lived together for a couple years. They had a son named Eli, who was a few years old when she went missing. She has other children that are now grown. And Crystal was with Brooks at the Houck farm, which was actually his grandmother's farm. The night of the 3rd or the 4th, they're not sure what night she was taken from her family. And it was raining. It was storming, supposedly. And they had Eli, and Eli was just like 2 or 3 at the time. And they were out in the back of this farm, which was acres and acres. It was like a big farm. When you have a farm in Bardstown, it's usually large. And it's usually a lot of family land, which means inherited from family previous to you. And they were supposedly in the rain having a bonfire. And had been feeding the cows and the pigs. So usually when someone lies, there's always a stress of truth in the lie, right? They do not believe that Crystal is alive. They do believe that she was killed that night. And they do believe that if something was being fed to an animal, it could have been her. They don't know for sure, because no one's admitted it, but they do not believe that they will find her remains. They also do not believe her remains are at that farm. They believe they were transported to another abandoned farm. And so that's Crystal. Her last known location was the Houck farm, but they don't believe that's where she was her where she was laid to rest, if you could be laid to rest. So this was the car that was left here. This is the Bluegrass Parkway. Locals call it the BG. So my family, my extended family, both my mother and my father were born in this area. My dad was, his parents were actually born in Nelson County in New Haven, or his father was, and they actually owned a bar called the Sherwood Inn that's in New Haven in Nelson County. My mother was born in Hart County. And I take the Bluegrass Parkway when I go to visit because it's beautiful. There's no billboards except for what you see right there, and that's Crystal. So her car was left abandoned with the seat in a position that, of course, she would normally sit in because someone dropped it off, with a partially flat tire. It wasn't entirely flat, but it was partially flat. Car seat was inside, and her purse and her phone. Why do the guys who do this to girls always leave a phone in the purse behind? It's just stupid. I mean, not that I'm trying to coach you, but it's like a clue. Women, if they're just running away from their boyfriend, they don't leave their purse and their stuff behind. It just doesn't happen. So yes, Miss Wee, I'm trying to go over the background. So this is the home that was at the House farm. It was a very large farm. And it's a working farm where they have cows and dairy and beef and pigs and all sorts of stuff. And it was actually owned by his grandmother. And that's it. I mean, they didn't even go looking for her. So she goes missing. One of her daughters calls Sherry, and Sherry is her mother, and says, "Ma, have you talked to Crystal, her daughter?" And she's like, no. But she felt like she knew something was wrong at that moment because Crystal was always available on the phone, like we all are. You know, people know when there's a problem. So she called around. She went looking for Sherry. Was actually the one who, in the end, who filed her missing persons report. Brooks, her roommate and house sharer, boyfriend, baby daddy, did not call her in. Sherry goes out looking for her. She's near, and again, it's a really small town. It's in near where the police station is, and she sees Brooks. She waves him down. He sees her. She sees that Eli, the son, is in the back of the car. And she said at that moment, she knew that her daughter was gone because her daughter, Brooks, didn't hang out with his son at all, according to this family. It was either one of Crystal's daughters had Eli, or Sherry had Eli, or Crystal had Eli. It was not Brooks is going to take his son for the day kind of thing. And he blew it off, of course, because he just killed her, allegedly. And he said, well, she was upset. We had an argument. So she just went to her friend's house. All of that turned out to be not true. Not true at all. It all started way back in 2013 with Jason Ellis. Jason Ellis was murdered also on an off-ramp. That's what I call it. I don't know what y'all call it. An off-ramp of the BG, and he was headed home after his shift. Jason was a canine police officer. His vehicle that would have held his canine was in the shop, and he was going home, and he didn't have the canine with him because it wasn't safe for the canine because the car was in the shop. Someone had to have known that. So he's leaving. He's going on an off-ramp. There's a tree branch along the highway ramp. So there's a tree branch around here as he's getting off. He gets out to move the branch, and he is pew-pewed before he can even get, it must have been right here because you could see yellow tape. He couldn't get his sidearm out, and he was already dead. It was at night. So whoever did the pew-pew, can't really say things sometimes on YouTube. Whoever did the pew-pew knew where he was going to be, how he was going home, knew the canine wouldn't be there, and was a really, really, really good pew-pewer. A really good pew-pewer. Because that person was likely on this hill. They were up on this hill, and it was nighttime. YB says, oh, thank you so much. Thank you very much for enjoying the channel. Hi, Charlotte. How are you? Charlotte's one of my best friends, and she was one of the first persons I ever met when I came to Tallahassee, and we were office neighbors, and now she works with us in our brokerage, so it's really nice. Crystal does have a child named Eli with the defendant, Brooks Houck, and I'll show you his picture in a minute. There are 11 distilleries in Bardstown, right? And they're still tobacco. So when I go to Bardstown, I'm always researching my family. So I don't really go to the bourbon side of it. I'm big in ancestry. I love it. And so I'm going to cemeteries. That's what I like to do. So Claire says she listened to the Bardstown podcast over a year ago. Didn't think anyone would. We always pray, right? We always pray for the arrest. So Shay McAllister, who started the Bardstown podcast, she's a journalist outside of Louisville or in Louisville, and she works in Bardstown and has promoted this case to where it is today. She said a new episode of the podcast is dropping shortly. So that'll be interesting. Hey, Jay. Jay says, I'm sorry. I'm sure Donna and Harvey deleted anything was incriminating. As we know from the jail calls, they're very tech savvy, right? Well, I thought they would use something other than Cellbrite. I really did, because they said that they could pull the entire content off the phone. And when I went to my cybersecurity professor, they were like, it had to be Pegasus, which is an Israeli type of program that will extract all the data on your phone, every bit of it. I don't think they're ever going to contact the IRS. I think that ship has sailed, and I don't know why. Debbie says, I was watching a few podcasts on Riley from Nashville. Parents at a press conference. Poor mom. I know that case is odd. And Luke Bryan's bar came out and said none of that original story was there. And it was just odd. So anyway, this is where Jason Ellis's murder occurred. So Jason was in 2013. And then Crystal was in 2015. And it's a small town, Bardstown and Nelson County, like super duper small town. So to have two unsolved murders was really, really unusual. Then all of a sudden, Tommy Ballard's murdered. Tommy Ballard was Crystal's father. Family was lifelong Nelson County. He's actually like 13 cousins away from Brooks Houck, because Brooks Houck's mother's last name is Ballard, which her husband, Nick and Brooks' father, passed away of cancer several years ago, and she goes by Ballard. She has a boyfriend. Anyway, Tommy is distantly related from Brooks. And the reason I know of this case a little bit more than I do some of the others is because my aunts live on the same road as Tommy Ballard's father. And Tommy Ballard's father is also a builder and had a farm. So it's all in the same location. My aunts lived there, gosh, I think shortly after she got married. So like 40 some odd years, she lived on the same street as Tommy Ballard. And they go to their Catholic. So it's a big Catholic county. So they all go to the same church. And it's been a rough road for the Ballards. There was another murder years ago by Tommy Ballard's sister was pregnant, and her husband murdered her and left her in the snow, and they found her body. So the family's really had a rough go of it. Tommy Ballard did not want Crystal's going missing to ever die off. And Sherry kept the family name out there. Like Dateline was really good about it. any crime show they could get on, Sherry was on. She did tons and tons and tons of interviews, and she kept it alive. I mean, she really did. So Tommy was out hunting with his grandson. I think he was 7 or 8 years old. They had just arrived. He was in a clearing, and he got shot in the head, and right next to his grandson. They do believe the bullet or a bullet might have ricocheted off a tree. They think they found where that tree is, and they think they know the direction. And also, a very, very good shot would have had to have hurt this man the way it did instantaneously. So Tommy's gone. So years later, that's 3. Sherry says that Tommy didn't really share the investigation that he was conducting on his own to find his daughter. But clearly it was upsetting people because someone took him out. There's a lot of I wouldn't say conspiracies or stories about this is Brooks. There's a lot of that says Brooks owns I guess 285 homes that he rents out and builds and then sells and does all that. And Nick was a police officer for Bardstown Police, his brother. And there could have been some sort of drug dealing, meth dealing, cocaine dealing, moonshine dealing, who knows. And apparently maybe Jason Ellis, the officer, found out about it and was going to start investigating them, and they took care of the problem. Then a couple years later, after Crystal met Brooks, she worked in a convenience store and then started helping him to manage property. He could have been hoarding drugs in these homes. Who knows? People believe she found out something big. She was preparing to leave him, and he likely took care of the problem. Nick, being a fabulous pure, also helped to take care of the problem. My personal opinion is Brooks was deep into DRUG dealing, and Nick was as well. Nick was protecting his brother. That's what I think. I think Nick was protecting his brother. And Joseph Lawson and Steve Lawson. Steve Lawson worked directly for Brooks Houck. Brooks was on the phone in his first questioning with Bardstown Police, and he had one phone number in his phone right after midnight, and it was to Steve Lawson. The officer picks up the phone, says, "Hey, we got to call this guy, see what's up. Why did he call you?" Because Brooks pretended he didn't know. There was a very dramatic call, which I'll play at another time, of Steve Lawson blowing smoke up Brooks Houck's ass and saying, he just felt so bad. And Brooks pretending like Crystal was right next to him in the original, that night. And so she couldn't have gone missing until afterwards, all very convoluted. Joseph Lawson is a meth addict. At the time of the murder, he could walk. He is now a paraplegic, if not, I think he's a paraplegic. And that being said, Brooks knew how to put the wrench into people, called Joseph Lawson, have him help move her body and move her car. They believe that Joseph Lawson is the one who placed the car at the Bluegrass Parkway, her Chevy. Steve was the one who was called after Joseph Lawton left the car to go pick up his son to take him wherever. Steve Lawson says that all he did was pick up his son. He wasn't in a conspiracy to commit anything. So, and his attorney comes right out on the street and says so, which I'll play for you another time. It's an absolutely amazing interview where he's just like, yeah, he was just picking up his kid. So we don't know what we don't know yet, but it's a very, very, the state wants to try them all 3 together, which I don't think Brooks Houck has a chance, but to try them all 3 and get the full picture all at the same time is going to be a problem. Not yet charged is Nick Houck. Nick takes a polygraph which is worth its weight in gold. And Nick's quote was, because you're telling me I'm lying and I know I'm not, even though his polygraph was like jacked up from the floor up, right? It was completely jacked. This I just found on Twitter. It says, during episode 2 of the disappearance of Crystal Rogers, which is actually on Oxygen, did anyone else notice the brother Nick Houck at the press conference to announce the murder of Officer Ellis, which I did not notice, but I'm going to go back and watch it. So episode 2, if you've ever watched it, it's on Oxygen. It's the disappearance of Crystal Rogers, and there's Nick Houck looking so consoling and concerned. He's a nut. This is Rosemary. Rosemary Houck has a lot of money. She has a lot of land as well in Bardstown. And she has this attitude. She's got the Donna face going. Complete defiance is what I like to call it. This is her before the murders. It's a Facebook photo. And this is her recently at a casino. She likes to play the cards. She's a big poker player. Can't you tell? I try to get rid of other people's faces, but Rosemary is a huge poker player. She loves the cards. She loves the slots. And then this is her in the courtroom learning that during the, what do they say? The grand jury hearings, the family recorded it. But I guess when they figured it out, it was past that. How did they record a grand jury? It was past the statute of limitations, so they couldn't charge him. Why was he murdered? I believe that he was murdered because of drugs. He was a K-9. He did a lot of drug investigation. Kentucky has a big, big, big drug problem. Where my mom is from, it's a little town called Cub Run. It's not even a town, okay? It's a crossroad. And it's very methy. It's very Amish, Mennonite, and meth. It's very, very bad. Very bad. So, hey, Sonny. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for coming on at this. Like, I was talking to Bling is the New Black on my phone. And, well, that's how I talk to her, is on the phone. And I was like, I'm going to come on and I don't know what to talk about. So then I was like, oh, I'll talk about Crystal. It's hard to watch her. I sadly think he's in that river. His debit card was found near the river. But how do you think he got there, Debbie? How do you think he got to the river? I saw that in New York, that he was captured by a cop responding to a car break-in. I saw that. But he was walking. Look, I mean, they said he looked like he was sober when he was there. I don't know. Distantly related. Well, if you go into any like ancestry on Nelson County, we're all related there. I think I'm probably related to that family somewhere. It is so many murders in a small town. It is. I think missing people tear me up too. I think it's abominably cruel. Just like the Tulos murder, Jennifer, that you don't tell. You're done. You're not getting out. You're done. You should tell people where your family is. I just think it's just horrid. I don't think I'm going in and out. Let me know. Hey, Misha, thank you for asking. I do not have any updates on Lori Page other than signs have been put out locally in the yard. So like real estate signs, like 24 by 18 signs. About 100 or so were put out. And her mother is off all social media. So her mother completely eliminated her TikTok and her Facebook. So we don't know why, because she eliminated it. Yeah, that's the theory, is that going back to the Rogers case, that there had to be some, like, why do people murder? They murder because you're leaving me. But I don't think really Brooks cared that she was really leaving. I think he cared that she was leaving because she knew something. So that's what I think. She had to have known. She told her mother she knew something. she had to have known something. It's always money, right? Freedom. But even in the Markel case, it was money or freedom or the kids. Brooks Houck, this is his only child. He was not nice to her children. He was very, according to the Disappearance of Crystal Rogers TV show, like he would tell her, he would buy his food at Eli's, even though her kids lived there, and he wouldn't buy the kids' food. Like he was very separate in his thinking. But that's, no one believes that's why she was leaving. They believe it was a bigger reason that she was leaving. Even the grandmother. So the grandmother was earlier, there was some sort of like conspiracy or something that the grandmother was going to be charged with this car. I'll get it for you. And she pled the fifth, or she pled no contest because she would not, and the grandmother's old, like she's not a young woman, but she was not going to turn on her grandchild. Yeah, Top Cat. There's nothing on Donna's phone. There's a hard drive on Donna's phone. He does look like he was on meth. And when they arrested Joseph Lawson, let me go back to it. When they arrested him, he was laying on the floor naked, probably stoned out of his gourd. And that was that. He looks better now. Not that picture. That was right after he was arrested. But right now, he's gained a lot of weight in prison. He looks much better. Well, thank you. More money than Brand's family. Right? They just got away with it for so long. They got a lot. They just got away with everything for so long. And no one spoke except for that phone call. So it takes a lot in Kentucky to get a murder conviction, by the way. You got to listen to the Bardstown. They literally talk about how many pieces of evidence that you're allowed to send to Kentucky police, like the state police agency. Very few pieces of evidence. And the attorney general at the time got this put it before the FBI. When the FBI came in, that's when they went over Brooks Houck's phone call with Stephen Lawson, and then they knew they had something. But they arrested Joseph Lawson first. She really does have an RBF, doesn't she? She loves her gambling. I saw he was on the video, but the police discussion, Debbie, going back to the young man from Nashville, said he didn't look like he was drunk. Does that make sense? That's what I heard anyway. Oh, well, yes, you can say hi to everyone. Oh, well, I'm glad the time of day is good for you because I never know what time. I never know. Law and Crime had a docu last month about the murders of people who visit bars with spiked drinks to rob, and it goes wrong. They end up in the city lake. I don't drink anymore in a bar, and I rarely am out after 8 o'clock because I'm like, what am I? 3 from 60. That's what I say. My Wi-Fi is good. Okay. Have you heard of Vine? I'm registered now, looking up all the criminals. Yes. In fact, anytime Charlie gets moved, or like Scott Peterson out in Washington, I know every time they get moved because of Vine. So Vine is a little system, and you can go to, let me do any offender search. I'll show you. If you don't know, let me show you how this works. Let me do. So right here, you click on Charlie's thing, And right down here is Vine link. So any inmate you want to look up, you click on that and you'll get custody status updates. Here's where it says that he is in administrative confinement. Administrative confinement's internal status, it doesn't mean that he's in trouble, right? So solitary means he's in trouble. So I had a little, this is from the state of Florida with some definitions about protective management. Administrative, let me get this to be bigger. Administrative confinement refers to the temporary separation of inmates in Gen Pop, which he wasn't in general population to begin with. Provide for security and safety until such time as a decision could be made. So with what's her face, Donna, she was basically in administrative confinement, medical confinement in her case, but there is no noted medical confinement on a state prison. So Charlie could have had a medical issue that they put him in confinement. He could have had a mental health issue because they put him in confinement. There's a numerous number of, think about it, things that he is in administrative confinement. But he is not in trouble in this confinement. He just is not eligible for visitors, in case you were wondering, if you want to go over there. Mr. BETC believes Riley fell and did hurt himself. As mom watching the video breaks my heart. Oh, so sad. A lot of people believe he's in that river. Just very sad. I will never either. But a lot of things, Wee Lassie, I just don't get. The stuff that people tell themselves is so incredible that I don't know if it's a protective membrane in the brain or what, but it's just such a lie. Because murder, first of all, in the United States, the murder statute never expires, ever. So I just don't understand why you think, hey, I'm different. It just doesn't make sense. Crazy land. Oh, the Law and Crime doc was about Austin and Lady Bird Lake. Oh. It is. It's the index for everything, People need to learn to walk away. How is murdering someone else a solution to an issue? Well, if you have a big drug corporation going on behind the scenes, people can't just walk away, because if they walk away and they tell, then you're on the. And she was probably, I don't know that she was an emotional person, but let's pretend that she was emotional and she's like, I'm leaving you and I'm telling everything. And then next minute you're missing on a farm. Because that's what happens. People get emotional. Women are emotional. I'm really emotional. The Lawson son does look older than his dad. He does. It might be the same modus operandi as basically idea here is with the young student. Bars get a great hunting ground. I know. And I like the idea of people. I guess it's been on Shark Tank. I think it was the guy was from Tallahassee, but they put some sort of cover or something. And if you go to try and spike the drink, it changes color. So, I think the guy's from Tallahassee that did it on Shark Tank. Banana bread, banana bread, banana bread. You have a feeling, Vine. Yeah, because we learned through. Well, send me your email. If I get a notification, I'll send you an email. So send me your email. We is in Scotland. Just turned 60. You can't believe it. I feel 35, only with much more stiffness. Well, I feel 57, and I feel 57. A video link has all the time of the world, but it's worth it. I don't say it now, but here we are. I know. Murderers go into tunnel vision mode and don't appear to comprehend all the chaos that they're leaving or care. I think they truly don't care. Oh, Adelsons are a whole other I, well, they're just as bad as the Houks. I mean, Nick Houck, can I tell you? Nick Houck tried to open a daycare in Bardstown. Now, that town is even nicer than Tallahassee. Like, Nick Houck is riding around, doing his thing, not paying any attention to anybody. Oh, that's right. Thank you. Not paying attention to anyone about their opinion. All of a sudden, he tries to open a daycare, and the world just like, he was like, no. People had open night with the government about not letting this man have a daycare. In this case, Sherry Ballard tried to get some sort of custody, just like the Markells, of Eli, which was their shared Brooks Houck and Crystal Rogers' son. And remember, Crystal had siblings. Crystal had other children that were Eli's siblings, and they were not allowed to see Eli at all. No custody at all. And they live in that little town. Now that boy's like 13 or 14 years old. It's a mess. So let me show you about the warrants I went through. So this is what came up, right? So that's the hard drive. And then I went back. I was like, let me go look at all the warrants. So I did a little word search. So this was her affidavit. Let me share it. This was the affidavit when she first was arrested. That's another arrest affidavit and an incident report, which is really nothing. The first affidavits filed was for her, the white phone seized from Harvey Adelson on 11/14/23. It was a white phone, and they wanted everything. And throughout these search warrants, they just iterate the case again. They literally copy and paste the case. But so he had one Apple iPhone, but it doesn't say, oh, it says the serial number. Hold on one second. It does have the serial number. I didn't realize that. 1760264. I wonder if I could pull up what model that was. Apple. Let me see it. What is it? 359. Oh, it doesn't really say. (888-176-102064). Yeah, it doesn't really say. I was trying to see which color and model it was, but it just says a white iPhone. It's not giving me what model it was. I'm sure it was like a 13, because on her phone, there was something about her phone that I was like, it's not that old. So they took his white iPhone on the 14th and wanted everything out of it. We're not surprised by that, right? And then the second warrant was his iPad. Not a surprise. But remember when Jeff Lacoste was talking about Wendi in the purple dress, or in the blue dress, that was shortly after Dan Markel was shot? Now here's a gray iPhone in a black case. So what I had looked up was when was the last time they had a white iPhone? And it was the 13 model, was the 12 and 13 was a white. So he carried two phones, like I carry two phones, and he carried an iPad. And here's another affidavit down here. Description number 17. That's the same thing. But they asked for his, here it is, his MacBook Pro. So he carried 2 phones, an iPad, and then this MacBook Pro. So remember when Jeff Lacoste was talking about the photo of Wendi in the blue dress? And her boobs were like kind of photoshopped. Do you remember that? This photo. So in this, he says, Jeff Lacoste says that this was photoshopped by Harvey. That Harvey was a big photoshopper and he photoshopped it. So that's probably why he had a MacBook. And I was like, ooh, girlfriend. Because Jeff Lacoste said her previous Facebook photo was just like a mom with a couple kids. And she changed it to the purple dress photo. And there you go. Now she's looking like a hoe bag, isn't she? Crazy lady. Yep, she changed the photo. And Jeff said that Harvey had manipulated it. So when they took a MacBook Pro and I was like, Harvey's 80 years old and can do Photoshop, I'm impressed because I cannot. I've tried it. I don't understand the layers. I don't get it. Jay was on here. I don't know if he's still on. He can edit now. I cannot edit. I was on Roberta Glass's show a Sunday or so ago, and she was kind enough to talk to me after her podcast, and I asked her about her editing. Like, she did her editing, and she said that she taught herself. I'm so impressed by that because I can do a lot of things, but for some reason Photoshop is, I can hack your phone. I can do that. I can hack it right in front of you right now because I'm getting so good at it, but I can't Photoshop. It's weird. Yep. Imagine your dad Photoshopping this photo and enhancing yourself. Weirdos. I think there's a lot going on with Harvey that we don't know about. I do. Oh, that is absolutely her eye on the cover of the book. I'm trying to read it, but the boredom on her book is just absolutely incredible. Even though I know who wrote it, even though I got it from the library, it is just one of the most boring books I've ever opened. I just can't. You are not allowed to wear fake contact lenses in jail. You have to wear glasses. Mm-hmm. No. Change the photo, change the kids. Yep, last name. She knew exactly what she was doing in all of this. Everyone's like, she's not the architect. Broward County, Bling says, Broward County met my sheriff at MAA and pulled him off the jetway and handcuffed. Not the sheriff, but the guy. Yeah, Bling has to testify coming up, I guess, maybe. I cannot do them, Shoshana. I cannot do them. I try. Even on Canva. Like, I use Canva for everything for work. They just changed Canva, so you have layers now. I'm like, oh, no. Don't do that to me. No. I just like positioning. Miss Wee Lassie, a bit like the Cox family vibe. Lori Cox Daybell, right? That family too. But there's part of their crap is religion, like the cult. But I don't know. Harvey changing the phone is creepy. I would never alter my daughter's. I don't even like it when my daughter says like filters because I think she's so beautiful. I am a fan of filters though. So we just had our photos taken. Let me see if I can find it. We just had our photos taken for Patty's Playhouse, the radio show. We've never had them. And I was like, let's do it. It's fun. Let's talk these people into it because they don't like doing anything I asked them to do beyond the basics. So anyway, that's me at the radio station. Don't I look similar? I was like, Cole is his name. I was like, Cole, we're going to use a lot of filters. I was like, you need to Kardashian this chin. Like, let me see if I have the other photo. I want you to see Scott. Oh, here's Scott. So here's Scott and Patty. And then Bling made this shirt. I ordered this shirt from Bling is the New Black. But that's Scott Cowart. And that's Patty Wilson. And that's our radio station where we record our radio show. But I asked, I was like, please, please, please edit this. Make sure all the edits are there. So yeah, it's fun. So I'm pretty proud of it. I'm proud of our photographer. Thank you. I love the radio. I love it so much. I wish I could be a radio DJ. Like, I wish I had a radio talk show and I could be on it full time. I wish there was money in it. There's not. Thank you, Misha. I really appreciate it. But it was just like so fun to look at Scott because I always tell people he's the star of our brokerage and I just get to work with him. Thank you. I think it is. I think Scott's very handsome. And he was like, none of those photos work. I'm doing it. Harvey said it was going to get you a new TV, but it was cheaper to Photoshop a boob job. Don't people on here think that she had boobs? Didn't everyone think she had boobs? I don't know. I don't think she had boobs done, but I just don't think she's an attractive woman. I don't think she should save. I think she should save her money. Oh. I think Wendi is just unattractive and miserable. Miserable. I think she's still miserable. I mean, how do you walk around? It's the same thing. Like, how did Brooks walk around? Bardstown, the population of Bardstown, Kentucky. Is 13,000 people. That's it. 13,000 people in the whole town of Bardstown. And he's walking around like his S don't stink and he can do whatever the hell he wants. Her breasts are lily white. Why that picture? I don't know. I think she was trying. I don't know. Why would you? I don't understand. I'm going to have to get my thought together. You have your ex-husband murdered. And you change your Facebook photo to that? I still think she's a hoe. I think she's been spreading her legs for a long time and her family just doesn't know it. Allegedly. I do. I don't think John Lauro, in all of his wit and wisdom and talent and $800 an hour, is going to save her from herself. I don't. I believe she will, just so people will talk about it, Mr. B. I think she will talk about it. She will do it so people talk about it. If my daughter was sitting on a sofa looking like that, and I remotely thought she could have had something to do with harming her ex-husband, I just couldn't have done it. I just don't understand. I know I keep saying it, but Brooke Howe did make a whole heck of a lot of money in the last several years, yes. And he buys a lot of property, and he sells a lot of property, or he did. But now Sherry Ballard, she wasn't taking any crap anymore. So once he was arrested, Sherry Ballard did file a lawsuit. She filed a wrongful death, which I got to hand it to her. He didn't put all his stuff in a trust. Which he probably should have. So he didn't get that this was coming to, like, he didn't get it. Pardon the ads. But it says Crystal Rogers' mother and 4 children are suing Brooks Houck, the man charged. Sherry Ballard. This was just December 21st. Sherry Ballard filed a wrongful death lawsuit in Nelson County Circuit Court in online court documents. Ballard is the mother of Rogers. Also listed as plaintiffs are her 4 children. A judgment in an amount to be determined at trial by a jury, court costs, attorney fees, pre- and post-judgment interest, punitive damages, and any other relief. According to the lawsuit, Ballard was appointed as the minister of Rogers' estate in November, so they had to declare her dead. The appointment came after Houck was charged with the murder in September. The lawsuit states Houck intentionally and wrongly caused Rogers' death. Ballard claims she's entitled to recover damages. Reasonable and necessary funeral, monument, and administrative, they don't have a body. Physical pain and mental suffering experienced by the decedent before her death, lost earnings, decedent's enjoyment of life, decedent's power and ability. The defendant actions against Crystal Rogers were committed willfully with oppression and fraud of malice. It goes on to list 4 additional counts on behalf of the 4 Rogers children. All of the children were minors at the time. According to the lawsuit, as a result of Houck's action causing the death, the children lost the love, affection, guidance, services of their mother. Houck was Rogers' boyfriend at the time. He was considered the main suspect. He was arrested in that September, and his bond is still $10 million. Houck's arraignment that this was the first time he asked for a $10 million bond because Houck was the first multimillionaire he ever prosecuted. According to court docs, Houck owns 3 businesses and 83 properties. I think he owes more than that. He owns a lot of residential properties. Prosecutor revealed, unless he sold them, that they are in possession of the gun that they believe used to kill Tommy Ballard, and police purchased that gun from Nick Houck. See, that shows how dumb they are. They literally, so the dude posted, I can't, hold on. The dude posted on Craigslist. It won't expand. The dude posted on Craigslist and the FBI buy it. And at the time of his bond hearing for Nick Houck, or Brooks, same difference, they say, they call out Nick Houck right in the courtroom and said 4 of the 5 tests matched Nick's rifle that shot Tommy Ballard, and he was the number 1 suspect for Tommy Ballard's case, but they have not yet arrested him. Charlie is worth half a boob. Yeah, I don't think she's lonely. I think she earns her way through life. Does that make sense? I think your girl earns her way through life. And I think she's done it for a long time. I don't think that's new. I think her parents forced her to have what I would call like an oppressive childhood. And I think she mentions in her podcast that her mother was proud of her still being a virgin. Well, I don't think she was. I don't think anything Wendi ever says is true. I think it's all a lie. Every bit of it. According to her brother, it's because she had kids, but apparently it was okay for him to date Katie with kids, right? He tried to sell the gun to an FBI. Well, he did sell the gun to an FBI agent. He sold the gun to an FBI agent. Undercover. Don't you love these undercovers? Yeah, he sold the gun. And then they took it, did its 4 tests. 4 out of 5. See, does anyone know what these 4 out of 5 tests are that they use? I'm sure it's like the striations of the bullet, that kind of thing. Brooks reminds me so much of Wendi, so confident that they won't get caught. Oh yeah. Brooks is so arrogant. They were searching his properties for a long time, and I mean hours and hours, days that they were out. The FBI was out searching, tossing concrete. They were searching and searching, and he was riding his lawnmower. Like, I don't even think he had a t-shirt on. Just absolutely disgusting. Nick Houck used a fake ID to sell the rifle too. Well, then he should have been arrested for that. I know it's all in their time, right? Even idiot criminals know to make away a murder gun. Yeah, he didn't. I mean, I'd see the other part. Why would you keep the gun? Why would you keep the gun until years later to sell it? That doesn't make sense. Hubris is an issue, Peter. The thing that between brackets is a video title, but any video with Fable, she says, will boo. But it's just, I'm sorry, I don't understand. She married Dan because mommy wanted her to, and has always lived off other men. And oh yeah, she was going to be a DC attorney wife. She had no intention of having to work. I always think of like you all are probably like the original Dick Van Dyke Show with Mary Tyler Moore. And she was at home while he was selling advertising and creating advertising. And I'm like, that's what she wanted. She wanted to actually make hors d'oeuvres and do her thing and be that kind of wife. They have not set, well, it's a February 2025 date, I believe. February 2025. But there was just really a motion to have all the defendants tried together, and the judge has not responded yet. And there were motions by each defendant's attorney to ask for a change of venue. I don't know where they're going to go because it'll still be in Kentucky. But the prosecution's rationale for not having a change of venue is that you're going to have all of these people have to be transported every day. Like if they were going to have separate trials, then juries would have to be selected in different areas, and all of these people would have to be transported. So it was almost like I read that the prosecution was kind of like, we're probably going to have a change of venue, but if this is what happens, it makes more sense to combine the three trials. Charlie, who are you going to believe, a gang member or an oral surgeon? Hi, Rebecca. How are you? Oh, all the cakes. Aren't you cute? Patty cake. Uh-huh. LR and SG wanted to keep the gun used to murder Dan, and LG said, no way. Get rid of it. There's a lot in common with this thing. The children, the grandmother. It's Miami versus Canada and a small town. Bardstown only has 13,000 people. That's it. It is small. Jennifer Ray. Yep, she married Dan because Jan pushed it. Donna pushed it. I think so too. I find it strange he's not arrested yet either, but no one knows where he is. Of course, the FBI know where Nick is, but no one, I think they've seen him like go through the KFC once. Nothing. She wanted to be a DC. Well, Dan was at a DC law firm before they moved to Tallahassee, and I think that she would have enjoyed that life. He'd worked for a judge. He was on the fast track or something. But even as a professor, he could have been picked up to be an appellate judge anywhere. She wanted to be that wife. Yeah, I don't know what that whole, I don't know how maternal she is, but how maternal can you be when your ex-husband is murdered by your brother? How maternal can you be? Has anyone seen AA's Legal Focus version of the bar mitzvah dress? Anybody? It's hilarious. She has it hanging Like she got it off of eBay or something. I don't know where she got it, but it was very, very funny. Very, very funny. The lady is hilarious. I have to stop sharing. Do you hear that? My all these ads were just popping up. Wendi voted by her schoolmates as most likely to succeed. Well, success has a different meaning to a lot of people. Donna wanted the grandchildren. I don't think Wendi did. I mean, you can't, I don't know. Look at that condo that she has down in South Florida, Miami. That's not a child-friendly place to live. It just isn't. AA Legal Focus is hilarious, plus her skit of playing Wendi on Thin Ice. And if you haven't yet, please go subscribe to her show. She just hit 15,000, which is amazing. She's extremely intelligent. Very, very, very intelligent. Joseph Lawson filed a motion to dismiss or suppress his testimony interviews he gave prosecutors on June 8th to present because he wasn't given immunity. The info to grand jury that resulted in arrest. Well, I hate telling everybody, but the police are allowed to lie. So I'm not sure how that's going to go for him. Probably not well. Probably not well at all. I mean, I just don't. There has to be more to it, right? I think there has to be more to it than the promise of immunity. He was so on drugs at the time that, well, I guess they revoked that promise for immunity. It happens. I mean, they could revoke, if they could prove Wendi lied materially, is it materially? Materially, and they charged her with, let's say, perjury, her immunity would go south if they could prove it. If they could prove an intent, her immunity would go away. But they have to keep that immunity in place for now because they want to get Donna. I don't think they need Wendi anymore. I don't think they need Wendi. I don't know what Carl says, Carl Steinbeck, but I don't think they need, after these phones, I don't think they need Wendi. That's a bad day for Wendi. That is a really, really bad day. If they come out and say, you know what, Wendi, we don't need you this trial. Have a good day. Don't need you. Wouldn't that be a bad day for her? That day would be horrid. Horrible. Wendi, we don't need you or your immunity. So what we're going to ask you to do is come around. We're going to still give you a subpoena, but we want you to sit outside the courtroom for a while and let this carry on. I believe she has a lot of tricks up her sleeve, Miss Georgia Kappelman, and I don't think that they need Wendi. I just thought of that right now. I don't think they need her anymore. I think those phones, I think you're going to see Harvey subpoenaed. Why would Harvey not be subpoenaed if they have his phone? And that doesn't mean he has to talk about Donna. He could be subpoenaed on a separate kind. They can still ask Harvey questions. He might plead the fifth, but that doesn't mean they won't ask him. I can't believe they haven't brought Harvey in for questioning yet. Cannot believe they haven't. Why take Harvey's phone, his iPad, and his MacBook Pro if you're not going to bring him in for questioning? I don't think they need it. I don't think they need Wendi. I think they just need proof. They need Corbett and his phones. Detective Corbett, who is a banging witness. They need Stephen Webster to talk about Dan Markel again because I thought that was beautiful. Stephen Webster, if you don't know, was Dan Markel's last attorney. Let's see. What does he have a bio? Stephen obtained his bachelor's degree from Florida Atlantic, summa cum laude. He's a smart guy. He went on as an assistant state attorney, where he honed his skills as a trial attorney. He went on to work criminal defense. That's what I knew. He did white-collar criminal, but he did a lot of trial work. Complex white-collar cases in multiple states. He does political opposition, employment cases, and administrative. So at some point, Dan Markel's like, I'm going to hire this guy, Stephen Webster. And he did. And I think he did a fabulous job in Charlie's trial, just explaining Dan's mindset that no one really had explained at that point, because the family hadn't testified and talked about his mindset. So Stephen Webster did it. So I think they need Stephen Webster. This could be a very short trial. They need Corbett. Let me get you Corbett. Corbett was amazing. Amazing. I thought he was by far the best witness prosecution had. I thought he was absolutely amazing. So if you don't remember, this is Corbett. Chris, he was October 31st, 2023, and he went over all the calls and then the map of Wendi Adelson going down Trescott. I don't want to look at him. Okay, okay, so if you go to Donna's trial, don't bring a phone, don't bring food, because she holds a tight courtroom right there, this one. She really does. This bailiff is fierce. All three of them. He's a friend of mine, Eldridge. And then this guy I've never met before, but he's so nice. He probably won't be around much because he's so nice. And then, but she's fierce. There he is. So this is Corbett on the stand being drilled by Rashbaum. And he was just such an amazing witness. There was a young girl sitting next to us. I bet Sunny remembers her. She had that beautiful hair. She was really like caramel colored skin, really beautiful girl. She said she wanted to be a defense attorney until she watched this case. Now she wanted to be Georgia Kappelman. And she was like on the fence for Charlie, and then she heard him and she wasn't so much on the defense after that. It was really great. He's just an amazing witness. He was amazing. When they get to Harvey's phone, was it today's date? They got Harvey's phone in November. So the day after that Donna was arrested, they went and got Donna's phones. They just received the information back in the last couple of days. We have to wait all summer for this. That's true. I just don't think they need Wendi anymore. I mean, I'm sure that Georgia Kappelman will do what Jack Campbell's state attorney wants, but I really don't think they do. I think that phone is all they need. I would literally, if the state did not need Wendi for the case, if that's the case, let's see if Wendi is in the courtroom for support. Oh, she is not going to come anywhere near this courtroom, or her big goon, Morgan Honeycutt. I hope they pull Morgan Honeycutt right. I hope she gets a subpoena, because her phone, she wasn't her attorney, remember. But if that image on Donna's text is Morgan Honeycutt, which everyone, you all think it is. If that's her, well, that's a problem then, right? I mean, that's a problem. A big, fat problem for Morgan Honeycutt. Harvey likes driving up north anyway, so bring him into the court. Right. He'll be what? He'll be 81? Won't he be 81? His birthday's in July, like we all don't know. We should all have paella for his birthday. Do you think Wendi will be charged? Absolutely. But I don't think, I just thought it. They have his MacBook. They have Donna's phone. They have Harvey's phone. They had Charlie's phone. They got Meg Banowa's phone. They got everybody's phone. They don't need Wendi. Georgia will have lots of tricks. She's keeping close to her chest. I can visualize her, Wendi, Georgia, and Sarah leaving the courtroom behind a brass band. The witness list comes out in August. Well, the deadline for the witness list is August. The deadline was August. Let me see if I have the court hearing record. Trial set. Hold on, let me get it. The docket sounding says, which now I'm all learning new words, right, for the docket. So that's the docket sounding. Oh, here it is. Case management. Discovery deadline is August 12th. Discovery deadline is August 12th. The case management is July 22nd, which of course I'm going to go. It's going to be in 3B unless otherwise notified. So 3B is the smaller courtroom. And pretrial motion, August 12th. Witness list, exhibit list, and demonstrative exhibit with a courtesy copy to the court on August 12th. You know, a couple people have mentioned Tamara Demko speaking for Dan Markel, and the fact that she saw the behavior of Harvey and Donna post murder and memorial service. So she was the one. If you watch Deep Dive, he had a video of her, and it was Tamara. She was also a law professor. She substituted for Wendi when Wendi decided not to go to work. And Tamara left town. She went to Harvard with Dan Markel. And she was talking about trying to straddle being friends with both of them and the challenge with that. I have not followed the Karen Reed case because I think she's guilty. And she might get off. And that's irritating to me because I think she looks completely crooked. She may not be guilty of this, but she's guilty of something. If that makes sense. The Adelson case does give me the idea that the cult co-conspirators might face justice after Chad and Lori's trials are over. The Melanie Gibbs and Pulaski and Zalima, they might. I mean, I think once you have a couple, it gives you a lot of credibility to go for the others. You need Judy and Roberta to get together and do a Donna Judy skit. June skit. That would be funny. I don't know. I'm sure if Ms. Markel wants to testify, George Kappelman would be happy to have her. Because I think if not her, then Phil. Phil wrote the victim impact statement for the family. And I think he would be very good I think both of them would be very good on the stand. But Ruth Markel was the last one to speak to Dan. And then that teacher. And then that's it. Remember, he didn't want to take case because actions against fibbers were nuclear in Turney's arena. Yeah. He didn't want to take the case. Well, also he was a trial attorney. And I don't think he understood his purpose. But I think Dan Markel had it all orchestrated. And then when Dan Markel hired Stephen Webster, that's when her attorney was like, oh, I'm out. I'm not doing this. Stephen Webster truly felt great admiration for Danny Markel. Remember, he tried to call him, and then Dan Markel didn't answer the day he was shot. So he didn't respond. And then he says, I was upset because he didn't answer. We're supposed to go to court the following Friday. Remember that. Dan Markel was shot, pew-pewed in his garage. And the following Friday, they were supposed to go to court, and Stephen Webster was representing him. You think, oh my God. Well, luckily I have a sense of humor, Rebecca. If you want to call yourself a patty cake, there's nothing I can do about it. Do I encourage it? I will not. I will not encourage it. I will not absolutely encourage it. It's hilarious. It was really hard for me to accept. I did not name Patty's Playhouse, the radio show. It's here in Tallahassee. We're Saturdays and Sundays, and I did not name that show. It was our show producer and the station manager. He's a CEO of a radio station now, but he named the show because he likes alliteration. And I was like, okay, but it was really hard for me. I really struggled with it. And then I was like, okay, whatever. People laugh. It's fun. As long as they're laughing, I'm fine. He was brilliant. Hi, Annie. How are you? Her name is Maddie. She said she's showing Georgia. Oh, nice. She's shadowing Georgia now. Yes, she was a very nice young lady who was going to school. She wants to be an attorney. And I was talking earlier that she was kind of riding the fence, and she was sitting right next to me. And when Corbett showed the map, the phone call map of Wendi leaving Aqua Ridge, right? She's leaving Aqua Ridge and she's going to Trescott, and the difference was just crazy. Aqua Ridge. So if you don't know, 3122 Aqua Ridge is up here, right? 0 lot line. That's why people know when they were moving, right? These are little tiny lots, people. If you breathe hard, people know it. It's a very, very small area to live on. It just is. Very small. And then you go to Trescott. Look at that. 5.5 miles, 12 minutes. Look at all that traffic here, here, and here. She went out of her way to get here. She came like all the way. So he showed this. He showed this map, and he showed where the liquor stores were along the way. So look at all the liquor stores. Right here, there's a liquor store. Right here, there's a liquor store. There was a liquor store, which was there then. There's 3 liquor stores along the way. She came all the way down here. She goes to this one. So she goes to that one. And then she carries on. What was it called? Mosaic? It's gone now, but let's see. Momo's. Momo's is there where it used to be. And then she goes the whole way back up here. What the hell? So this woman, she's a young lady who wanted to be an attorney. She was like, I don't know. And then she's sitting right next to me and she goes, oh my God. I mean, that's the only time I heard like an audible gasp in the courtroom was this. She could have gone all the way to here. There's a liquor store. Right there. Right there. Liquor store. Right there. Liquor store right there. There's an ABC store. Well, there was an ABC store up there. Closer. All of these places. Here's the ABC up here. All of these places that woman could have gone and she didn't do. You think Georgia's going to have Tamara on? Roberta, the Geek Squad guy? Oh, no. I heard the Geek Squad guy passed away. I heard he passed, the guy who came to the house. Georgia is positively influencing, but I heard that she passed away, or he passed away. Corbett was clear and unflappable. That's the beauty of statistics. Statistics are unflappable, especially ones that you pull out of a cell bright. It's crazy. It was crazy. You can't. Well, what if you can't really tell? This isn't going to just go like, remember she said, Wendy's so sweet. Like she thinks we're all stupid. That right here, she stopped and did a 3-point here and then left. Meanwhile, it's a mile down this road. It's a mile. So that didn't happen. She lied. Hey, everyone. Hi, Plant. How are you? She couldn't help herself. She couldn't help herself. Would be a great family tradition if she got arrested prior. We kind of hope it is before. Harvey's password for all devices, Domna. I had the owl shirt from Poshmark, and I plan to wear it the day Wendi is arrested. Oh, that's funny. Who makes that shirt, Wybie? Who makes it? Wendy's always referring to her lawyer in court. How much money does it cost her to keep this? A lot. I think he's like $800. I think that's what he charges, $800 an hour. He was in that. You could see him on Dateline in 2020. I mean, he has to keep up with the hair. The hair alone costs that much, right? Does anyone know if Chaconis got bail? I don't think so. Not yet. And she cannot leave Connecticut if she posts bond, it says. Do I have the trial order for what? That day? I don't know what the trial order would be for. I don't know. What trial order? You haven't tried it on yet? Oh, you got to frame that when you're done. That needs to be in like one of those shadow boxes. I think the defense will ask for more time. No, I don't, because they agreed to that date. I don't think so, and I don't think Everett's kind of like that. No, they agreed verbally for that time unless something changes. I mean, it's only March, and they're pulling all of this stuff out. I don't think so. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it very much. Jennifer thinks Reed is guilty. I do too. There are people who think she isn't. And I don't want to argue with people, but I don't think she's guilty. I think so. I think, well, I don't know if it's been those since the beginning, but now they are. You're welcome, Top Cat. August 12th is the day. How they thought they'd never be caught. Wonder if Wendi got ideas from Dan Markel contributed to book, which included a discussion of how in some cases family is exempt. Well, she was wrong, and she went to Cambridge, so she's not that smart. I agree, Patty. Karen R. used the public's mistrust of law enforcement to protest. I think so too. I don't think I just don't think so. Oh, the court docs. Yes, I posted it. It is this, Sonny. It's right here. It is. An external hard drive was sent over to two the defense. Cellbrite of Donna Adelson's cell phone, which was collected at the time of her arrest. It was the white phone. External hard drive of Cellbrite of Harvey Adelson's 2 phones. He had a gray one and a white one. He also had an iPad and a MacBook Pro. They sent via OneDrive on 3/18/24. And so OneDrive is what Microsoft has, like their cloud, like Dropbox, and scanned copies and documents collected pursuant to search warrant at the Adelson residence. Jennifer thinks Ruth will be called once it's Wendy's trial. Hi, Lolly. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much. Don't mind being a patty cake or even a cupcake. Oh, bless your heart. Bling is the new black. We need this t-shirts, patty cakes t-shirts. Oh, she's on it. Like, I love that shirt. By the way, it is extremely soft. And the crystals are soft. Like, they're not super raised that you could scratch or tear a nail or anything like it. I was impressed. Scott was impressed, more importantly, because he's the tough one. Shoshana says she's heard nothing yet and can't get info from certain media due to being in the UK. Patty cake is super cute. It is cute. It is cute. Privilege or punishment, criminal justice, challenge of family ties, Dan Markel, one of the authors. Wendi maybe thinks she will get away from her crimes by twisting info. So I think Judy, didn't AA Legal Focus read that book? I believe she's an employment attorney. Oh my gosh. Wybie says, I'm sure we could come up with a patty cake rhythm for this case, right? We need a tune. We need a tune. Play Pal dolls? I don't remember that, Annie. But I'm going to go look for one now. Oh my God. I wish I knew. $1,300. $1,300 for this bad boy. Patty Play Pal. I've never seen this in my life. Vintage from the 60s. Oh, that makes sense. I was born in the late 60s. I was born in 67. So I did not know about this doll. She looks very creepy, doesn't she? Extremely creepy. Look at this. It's hilarious. I saw a video of Riley running, sliding, hitting a post. Then he was staggering. So it could have hit him. Whatever happened, it could have hit him at any moment, right? With Riley in Nashville. Very weird. Oh, you went on Trescott on Google Street View. Isn't that fun to like go up and down streets? I do it all the time. Well, I do it. I'm an appraiser. So I'm always looking at houses. And if you don't know, did I get rid of it? You can go back in time. So here's the Trescott house, right? Here's the Trescott house. So I want to go right here. And here you can see more dates. Where is it? I think it's is it this one? What number am I at? Oh, 2116. So here's the house. But you can go back in time right here and see more dates. You just click see latest date, and then you go to 2019, 2015. This is when, remember, this is how I found out that she lived in that really nice condo. If you've been watching us, you'll find out that I found this part, I believe, part of the lure of Wendi going to South Florida was that Harvey rented this condo that they could ill afford. It was $13,000 a month. And there's Meeks. Meeks put the roof on the house because after Dan died, a tree went through the roof. So Meeks put the roof on, and this was 2004. There's March 13. So this was wasn't that around the time that she left? No, she left him in earlier. What? Earlier part of the 13th. And then here's the 11th. So they were living here then. So it's April 2011. And then here's 2007, which is really old. And that's 2011. So they were living in this house at that time. So it looks like they switched cars out at some point. Charlie said her going to the scene is the true definition of conspiracy. But after those phone calls, once he was convicted and he's sitting in Leon County, he made it sound like he didn't even know that she really went down there and that he found out during that period. I don't drink, but I know I can find Bullet bourbon. And it's the green label. It's the rye label. I like rye. Do you like rye, Mr. C? Oh, you don't drink at all. I say. But I like rye. She knew only of one liquor store. Well, she's lying. I mean, it's not even a good lie. It's a horrid lie. Horrid. What makes this woman think she's an expert on Wendi? You mean me? I don't care what you think. I mean, I'm not an expert on Wendi, but I know how to research. Is that what you mean? Do I know you? She went because she didn't believe it was done because they were scammed by a hitman before. Yeah. I think she was there the day. I think Lewis saw her on that day. I think we're going to find out a lot more. I love a circle driveway. I like this house. This isn't their house. This is not the neighbor that reported it. It was this house where the neighbor reported, but I love that house. So sad. Why did she wait till the day of the party to buy the bourbon? Why, Jennifer? That's a great question. It's so obvious she tried to fill every minute of that day. And I sometimes wish that Georgia did not object to that invitation being supplied to the court and Rashbaum wanted it admitted, because I'm curious, like, well, was it edited? I mean, what was the reason why that invitation was not admitted to the court? Annie thinks, oh, I heard he died, but you're right. It could be a rumor. We have no idea. I'm going to have to go back on the witness list and find out. Might have been. They said they only needed Wendi to verify voice on the wiretaps. Fair. He is still alive, Jen says. Well, that's good. Which liquor store did she stop at when she lived there? Well, the one on Thomasville Road, which is right there. She went way out of her way in that city, but she'd lived in that house on Aqua Ridge for a while. That wasn't a new move. That wasn't new. Thank you, Joe Lou. She only knew one liquor store, not buying it. Google it, Wendi. I hope they have purchases of her credit card. I'm sure they have everything. That was another man. The same name, Geek Squad, is alive. Thank you. Wendy's drive-by is tremendous evidence because it is a mile. This road is really long out to Centerville. It's a mile. The store Wendi went to was a crappy ABC 10 years ago before they remodeled it. Correct. ABC on Thomasville near Cary Forest was much nicer and much closer. I'm glad he's still alive. I'm glad he is still alive. Wendi drinks her dinner. That's what Jeff Lacoste said. So I drove past the neighborhood today where Jeff Lacoste lives. And every time I drive by it, I'm like, wonder if he's outside. Wonder if I could just walk up to him and say, hey. Wonder if he'd feel like I was spying on him. Wonder if. I was curious. She could not wait. She had to know. Oh, Banana Republic. Thank you on the owl. They don't make my size, but I might get that out image and copy it and put it on my silhouette like a cricket and make a t-shirt. Shirt was Banana Republic. She's probably giving her lawyer favors. I think she really has money for him. And it's probably wasn't hers to begin with. Well, when you get a little fame, you get a little change. Your hair. Like his hair is fierce, right? Like he's like, the dude likes his hair. I don't know. I believe in a tie for attorneys. I don't know. I have to update my YouTube with my new photo. Well, thank you, Norma. I will. I just got them back today, so I haven't had a chance. For someone who claims she had nothing to do with Dan's murder, she sure is paying a ton of money for attorneys, right? And that was the attorney, remember, right after her questioning, that was the name of the attorney she threw out. Why did she throw out John Laurow's name that day? So she's leaving town. She's like, can't hear you. I'm in the car. Talk to my attorney. Hangs up. And who calls but John Lauro? How did she get him so fast? Has anyone thought of that? I heard Charlie has been put into consult. He's not in, now you don't get to do that on your own. He's in administrative confinement, Joy. You don't get to decide what kind of confinement that you're in, especially in Colombia. You don't get to do. Donna is ready to go. I think they could go to trial tomorrow. I just think they don't have the defense's approval to go to trial tomorrow. I think they were ready to go last December. Wendi is John's secretary. She takes, funny. That's funny. I'm trying not to get sued by John Lauro, but that's funny. I did find the document. Okay. Thank you, Lakeside. Chad Daybell needs to be in a local prison by this Friday, the 22nd. Oh, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. If Harvey is arrested, it may be a way for Donna to take a plea. It's not. She's not going to take a plea. She knows that if she takes, what has she got? What is she going to plead to? 10 years? She's 74. Whatever deal she gets, it's life. Her only hope is an exoneration, and she's not going to be exonerated. Wendi does not know what contempt of court means. That is true, because that's what she said. And she also declared that the Markell law was unconstitutional. Oh, well, thank you, Angela. You're very nice. Michelle's contempt hearing. Okay, that's what you mean. Is March 21st. So a couple days. Hey, Brady, how are you? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I'd love a t-shirt with Patty's patty cake on it. Well, aren't you cute? You're all so creative. Judy does family law. Oh, I thought she did employment. Interesting. Wasn't it an ugly doll? Very, very funny. I hate dolls. I love them, but I don't want I paid a lot of money for a 70s doll, like Christine. Do you guys remember? Was it Chrissy doll? I paid a lot of money for mine. I had these Chrissy in velvet, and I bought I think I bought the Chrissy doll. I have both, but they're mint condition. The hair, everything about them was mint. This is what they look like. So I'm one of 7, and we had a very small house growing up, so I wasn't allowed to keep my dolls or my stuff. My dad was like, here, pick 2, and we're giving away the rest. And so I remembered what my toys were, so I've been buying them up, like a little bit of here and there. But that's Chrissy in velvet. That doll's different. I want to give them to my granddaughters. Totally make that doll your profile? No, my profile picture is that guy who was so mean to me and said I was a clown. That was so funny. So if you don't know, I have a Facebook group. Let me show you. The profile photo we're talking about here. So I have a fairly, probably average Facebook group. It's 51,000 people here in Tallahassee. And this guy thought he was being funny. And he made this of my original profile photo. So I thought I looked cute. So then I used it and it pissed him off. And that's Roscoe. But if you want to follow us on Living Tallahassee, this is our group I started to help promote small businesses. So we're 51,000 people. Bling's been on there. She made some Tallahassee t-shirts, Tallahassee girl. So that's where people like my profile photo came from. All dolls were creepy back then. They were. You like doing it on roads abroad. I like doing it on roads in Scotland, Miss Wee. It is a beautiful area. Well, thank you, Brady. I just read a lot. Such a pretty area. Looks like a great city to raise a family. Much better than Miami. It is a beautiful area. And it really just depends on what your goals are. If your goals are, like I'm a real estate broker. If your goals are to sell houses for more money, you go to Miami. If your goals are to not be a drug addict, alcoholic, murderer, then you stay here. It just depends on what your goals are. Did you see that short video Wendi posted a few weeks ago? I did not. What video? What video? Wendi was caught in so many lies in the trial about the shortcut. I can bull a liar, cannot keep their lies straight. And she sits there and knows she's lying. She thinks she's so good. A front yard, a backyard, and a sidewalk. 3 things they don't have in Miami. No, they don't. And in 15, did they have? Yeah, they did have the court. So they did have sidewalks there. But they only have them on one side of the road. So a friend of mine lives up here in a really nice house. And on this side of the road. And they don't have it. And you see there's no street parking. The road is not very wide. For those that have been down the road, this house was for sale in 13. So for those that know that, it's not a wide road. It's double lane. There's a lot of traffic. So I'm kind of surprised when we talk about that girl, that correction officer that may or may not have seen anything or just trying to blow smoke up someone's, we'll call it correctional. It was July and people were home. Kids were home. Well, how did more people not see that car go by fast? Or were they just not paying any attention? Because the houses are very, very close together on the road. Even here, the lots are more long than they are wide. So you can see there's a park back here. So he's sitting here in his living room and the garage. So he had a really good visual of who was coming in and out of the house that day. I went on Google Street Maps and saw someone on my back porch when the Google car went in. It scared me. Then my husband said, "That's you." That's funny. Wendi claiming she thought a tree had fallen the day Dan was murdered. Then an actual tree fell. Is that not ironic? Isn't that a beautiful case of irony? Patty, I hope the gentleman you had on recently comes back on. I'd like more info. I would too. I mean, he was very nice. I'm going to send him a little thank you gift. He was very, very nice. He was He's just so. I mean, you spend even a couple years in prison. You think you change your dialect or your verbiage just to survive, and he really didn't. And I had a 2-hour conversation with him on the phone prior to even having him come on. So we know a lot about each other. Maybe Joria is saving the invitation for another trial. Yeah. Wendi said she talked to the liquor store guy, but she bought Bullet Rye, not Bullet Bourbon. It is true. It is rye whiskey, not bourbon. Sonny says there's 9 speed bumps. I will never live on Trescott. I would never live in a neighborhood with speed bumps, ever. I hate them. I would like to know if Wendi gave notice she was moving before Danny was married. She was running that house she didn't own. And I know the guy who rented to her. I know him, but I would never ask him. He would never tell me, and I would never ask him. He's a realtor here and for a long time. It's just like I would never ask. I would never put them on the spot. I would never ask her agent that was showing her homes that she was never buying. I would never ask her either. It is funny that that tree fell. I hope Wendi gets arrested too. We all hope Lolly. She did. She got Trump's attorney. But how did she get him so fast? Right? So he's shot. They do the memorial service. Then Wendi hightails it out of town, pretends that she can't have a signal. And then all of a sudden, John Laura's on the phone. How was he already retained? I don't know. Patty, ask Scott about John Laura's farm. I will. I'll ask him tomorrow. We're doing our show at 10:30 in the morning now, and I will ask. John Laura was on Joe Rogan talking about the Innocence Project with the dude who got out of jail, killed a guy, and was caught walking around with his severed head. Right? Can't even say those things out loud, Rabbit. I shouldn't have said it out loud. I heard Joe Rogan, when people tried to share that video, Joe Rogan called a copyright on it. I have no updates on Lori Page. If you don't know, this is Lori Page. This is Lori Page. She's been missing since June 3rd of last year. I met with her father a couple weeks ago. I met with him for a couple hours. We talked about doing a video, and I can't say why he didn't. But he was very forthcoming. He was very kind. It was Pastor Ferguson, myself, and Margie Summers. I'm going to ask Margie to come on. I'm not in charge of this, and I don't feel comfortable saying anything out of turn. But Lori's been missing. So then we go to try and find Mommy, right? Mommy was on Facebook, and now she ain't. Mommy was... Her Facebook profile was Miranda Page. She ain't gone. So her URL was up here, and Mommy gone. Mommy deleted. I do know law enforcement went up to Tennessee to speak with her, but that's all I know. That's all I got. So sad. Jimmy Jenkins was her attorney. I thought I read it. I didn't hear it from Carl Steinbeck. I thought I read it was John Laura. Who's Jimmy Jenkins? I will. Well, I mean, you could do it, but not as an attorney. I just don't think so. The ones with the growing hair, right? My doll, the Chrissy doll, it had a belly button that was like a flower, like a daisy, and you turned it and the hair grew. It was not scary, It wasn't scary at all. She was very hip. She was very mod. Jimmy Jenkins. Who is he? Oh, my Lord, have mercy. So what is that video, Yank? Were you the one who said there was a video of Wendi? Anyone have a video of Wendi that she posted? The guy just got $1 million for that jury selection. Who knew? Who knew that that was even a gig? I didn't know. Bye Bye American Pie song about Ricky Helens. Yes, hubris. How those Adelsons could be so stupid. Neither do we, Tammy. We sit around here several hours a week and discuss how stupid they are without knowing any answer as to why. Josh Dubin was the jury consultant, I believe. Why would she go? That is the easiest breakdown of all of it. Why did she go like she just got out of her garden, which we knew she didn't garden? Why did they? You love Mr. Microphone. I don't even know who that is. I don't know. I'll have to look him up. Who goes to lunch without taking a shower? I never have. Rye is smooth. It's not as smooth as scotch, but it's very, very smooth. You know, when you drink bourbon, you have that bite. You just know it's bourbon. It doesn't have as much of a bite at all. Who's Jimmy Jenkins? He's an attorney here? Hemp farmer. Well, there you go. That was her attorney? Come on. Where'd she go? That was her attorney. Jimmy Jenkins was her attorney. Really? You still have a baby tender love doll? Aw, good for you. Oh, they said it wasn't in the right format. The invitation to the party. I think it needed to be a PDF. Oh, because of the ability to edit. Now it makes sense. It was an old video. She looks very young. Boobs have to attraction, not Wendi jokes or personality. Not to mention her bleeding heart immigration stuff. Okay. Wendi went out unwashed because the plan was for her to find Dan. You've said that before. We believes that she was going to go drive around and find Dan, and it backfired because the neighbors saw it all happen. I don't know. Well, this guy is an attorney. I don't know that would have been. I don't know. I don't know who this is. Jenkins Law. That's an insurance. I don't know. We're going to have to look it up. Somebody get me a link as to which Jenkins this is. I love Labatt's beer. Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like if anything was like, well, I like Pabst too. But if there were 100 beers, I would go for either Pabst Blue Ribbon, which is home, or Labatt's, 100%. In case you didn't see it, in Jeffrey Lacoste interviews, second or third at TBD, Isom and Jeffrey have a quick discourse about Isom says Jimmy Jenkins. He's her family law attorney. Really? I'm going to go back because I did not hear that, but I'm going to go back and listen to it. I wish we knew who the friends were she had lunch with. I don't know who they are. Does anyone know who the friends were that Wendi had lunch with? It's good for cooking roast. Jenkins was hired after the blonde who testified quit. That makes sense. Dan did message Wendi, we need to talk. Wendi would have come across as the hero trying to save her ex, hence being dressed in scruffy clothes. Plus, it distracts from the family shooting. YB only drinks when it's warmer. Jenkins is in St. Pete. That's what I saw. That's why I was like, really? Why would she have hired a St. Pete attorney to represent her up here? Perhaps Lynchy. Aw. Tammy says, Bling is the black. By the way, I've been wanting to tell you that unbox you sent Patty with an amazing shirt. You made Rockin' look cool. Can you make the Patty cupcakes? Oh my goodness. Mentor Lawyer has the invitation stuff. Thank you, Peter. I gotta look this up. This Jenkins. I thought about going down and see if I can get the deposition from her divorce. I really want to know what's in it. I might go down there tomorrow. One of the friends at lunch was a coroner to help with Dan's body. Really? I'm hoping the lunch date friends are on hold for Wendy's. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're absolutely on hold. He does reside in Tallahassee. Jeffrey Lacoste. His home is probably 2 miles from here right now. I don't know, but you can bet they will be subpoenaed for her trial. I'm going to go back and look at that subpoena list and see if they, because her realtor was subpoenaed, but she obviously wasn't caught. I'm going to go back and see if the other people were subpoenaed. I don't think the plan was for Wendi to find Dan. She was too impatient to wait. And True Lives has the invitation stuff as well. Cool. Well, I know who she was meeting at that house. That lady's big in the chamber here. Wow. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. And I'm going to look up who Jimmy Jenkins is. Like, that doesn't make sense. Well, let's look at the Florida bar. There can only be so many Jenkins, right? One's St. Petersburg and one's Ohio. Nope. Interesting. We'll have to look that up. I'll have to research more. Because there's a Jerome. Christine Jenkins here. Doesn't make sense. I'm going to have to look it up. Oh, I hope we hear more. Wonder when they last gone to lunch. I don't. She said, if I recall, that it had been a while since she had lunch with him, if I recall. Apparently, according to Bree, she posted on Reddit that Charlie went into and can't have visitors or make phone calls. That is true. He is in administrative. Hold on. He's in administrative confinement. And it's an inside thing. It could be for a myriad of reasons. He could have been threatened. He could have asked for it because, or they could have seen, like, think about it. Could he have a mental health issue going on right now? Could he? She had been to lunch with them before. But who picked Mosaic? Who picked Mosaic? Who picked the time? Like, all of those questions need to be answered. Like today. Because I've been wondering about that. Legal focus is Judy. Judy, the attorney. You are welcome, Tammy. But why did they go to lunch at that time? Why so late in the day? Why Mosaic? Was that a place that she'd frequented before? Why? I think it's a great question, and I don't know the answer to it. But who? Who? And how did the police know where she was? How did they know? How did they know that she was at Mosaic? Did they ping her phone that quickly? How do they know? I don't think I've ever been to Mosaic. I don't think I ever have. I don't go to a lot of restaurants on Market Square because, especially at lunchtime, they're so busy. Like, there's so much traffic at that time of day, now especially. I just can't imagine. Sonny, who was Jimmy Jenkins? Who was Jimmy Jenkins? Who was Wendy's attorney after that blonde attorney of the year stepped down from being her family law attorney? Do you know? Do you know, Sonny, who her attorney was? Because I thought it was John Lauro, and I'm being corrected, so just wasn't sure. I need, right? I know. We're all waiting. Oh, you don't recall. I'm going to the courthouse tomorrow. I got to go downtown. So I'm going to go to the courthouse after the radio show and see if I can get I want to see how much that deposition is. Well, I mean, it should be available. It's not part of the state attorney case, so I should be able to get it. Who picked the restaurant? What time? Was it Wendi? Knowing she had no time to shower, a gift to buy. Exactly. She called the girls. Like, if I recall, we can do that. Won't be tomorrow because we have to have a team meeting here. But I believe she was the one who called to arrange the lunch at the last minute because remember, the Geek Squad guy, what was he going to do? Can't fix a TV. Can't fix a plastic screen, really. So he would have had to do it. I will. I'm going to go down tomorrow and get the deposition. I made friends with one of the guys down there, so hopefully he's there. And pick up the boys, right? The boys, that was her day to pick up because he was going out of town the next day. And those lunch places like Mosaic, that was like, I did an archive of that one. Into the Wayback Machine, Mosaic. I think I did it. I think I found their yeah, here's their website. Let's see, 14. January 14. Where is it? Well, come on. Here it is. Slow. The Wayback Machine is slow. So here's the mosaic where she went. This was the restaurant. 1410 D1. A modern bistro. So here you go. At this time, they were only open till 2. They were only open till 2 o'clock. So it wouldn't have been too long of a lunch. Thank you, True Crime. I appreciate it. I'm going to go and look at the I just usually skim and I'll go through the transcripts and see what I can find. Now, I remember, and I could be absolutely wrong, Sonny, that she said she had not had a chance to catch up with them. And so she called to see if they wanted to go to lunch. And of course, everyone is just so like amazed by her presence that they can't wait to be with her. So there you have it. The info that comes out about the lunch date, folks, and we haven't heard about it then when arranged by whom. It does intrigue because they can't ask Wendi those questions because then they can't use it against her. So there's a reason. You don't wear a shirt and shorts and flats to that. No. I mean, it's a white table restaurant for lunch. I know I've never been there. I'd never been. And I was selling real estate then. I just have never been. They only met at like 1 o'clock. Well, around that time, because remember, she was leaving. He was shot around 12-ish, and she was going to the liquor store. So she would have had to get up there around 1. Yes. I honestly think I've never watched past 40 minutes of her police interview. She had another friend in town who was in town but couldn't meet up last minute, so she went to lunch with those friends. She was desperately trying to fill her time with an alibi. But yeah, I mean, like, the food was lush. I mean, the food was good. It wasn't like, isn't this nice that you can go on so the Wayback Machine is the web archive. So if the website was archived, you can go back and look at it. So here was a lunch menu at the time. And this was, I pulled from 2014. So it's pretty much the same. Let's see if it's going to give me a PDF of the. But lunch was only till 2. I mean, it was lunch. So a sandwich was like $10. Fish and chips. She probably had a salad because So $8 or $9 for that. So they're walking around in here at one of these booths and the police show up. It's a small place, right? Who else was there that saw the... Who else was there? And between it all, she was on the phone overseas and WhatsApp. She was also on web. It was very upscale for her attire. So this is August 2014. So this is no different. A month after the poor man was shot, and lunch hours are 11 to 2. I do believe she was packing during the morning and that she was dressed like that. I think she was fretting. You've watched Wendi's interview over and over. I just can't get past her. I would not walk in looking like that. And my business partner, Scott, would not sit down with me like that. He would be like, Patty, do you need to go to the hospital? He's always well dressed, right? So you don't. Even Scott, when he has paint on him, he doesn't look, it looks like the paint was gently placed on him. He's so beautiful. It's like, it's way upscale and small. So where are they saying it's 14D? What's in there now? 1410D1. Shinola. Hearth and Soul is in there now. That's what's in there. So now it's a store that's run by Susie Bush. You know, the Bush, like Bush beer, Bush family, Budweiser family. Sunny says she thinks she was packing too, and that's why she wouldn't let Jeff in the back room. Absolutely. She could not let him in that house. Wendi couldn't have had the police show up at her house because she had started packing up to leave, hence the last minute lunch date. That makes perfect sense, Top Cat. That is packing a tire. In her interview, she said she had to finish a delicious salad for lunch as she's explaining to the victim. So that was her menu. I knew she had to have a salad. Patty wants a burger. So, hey, y'all, I had to give up salt. So my blood pressure is high. And I've lost so much weight, right? You would think that my blood pressure would drop, but it hasn't. So I have to go for some heart tests first week of April. And so I'm watching my salt, but yesterday I had to have a burger. It didn't have salt on it, but I had to have a burger. And so she had a salad, an eggplant, chicken salad, whatever. I mean, it's just so, I guess, Wendi. She had to have a salad. I would have had this salad. This would have been the citrus salad. Gay guy friends are the best at keeping us looking good. You have no idea, Annie. I got to pull out the photos sometime when we first started working together. It was not good. Why didn't she throw up her delicious salad at the police station when she heard he died? She didn't throw anything up. She didn't even throw a tear, Sonny. You got to throw a tear first. Southern women having lunch would simply die to be dressed like Wendi and even appear in public. You know it, like going to clutch my pearl. I know. So I just picked up some food, like someone's donating food for one of our shelters. So I said I'd go pick it up today. And it is because she doesn't have a truck. So I go pick it up for her. And I'm at Costco, and I'm not a member of Costco, but isn't it an experience? Like I think I'm dressed well for today, but I felt like I was underdressed for Costco. I also would like Scott and Chris take care of Wendi on the stand. Scott does not, he has no time for the trivial. He's very much probably like Dan Markel was. He's very dry and very straight, so to speak, and very honest. And he's not mean, but he will tell you what is the truth. So it's very interesting. Eggplant salad befits Wendi. I think so too, and I would just rather die. Although it had medallions on it, like it had fried onions. How could you even eat? She knew what was happening. Bread for two was only $2. Sonny, how much is bread at Bella Bella now? Like $12 or more? Bread at Bella Bella is really good, though. You have to be genuinely upset first before you can shed a tear. She was beside herself. Oh, well, thank you, Lolly. Well, it's not me. It's not about me. But the veterans, I work a lot with veterans. I was in the military. My daughter's a veteran. My son's a veteran. And my son-in-law is a veteran. So the Veterans Villages is what it's called. It's a townhome. It's a group of townhomes. And it's more like a transition kind of place, not a homeless shelter, so to speak. So because they live there, they all have their own little apartment. And they needed food. Like they have a food pantry. And so it wasn't just me, just a lot of people were bringing food and I just happened to have a truck. So I was just picking it up. But my point was the Southwood, not Southwood, that's the neighborhood, Costco, watching, I don't have a membership, but watching people go in and out, like they are dressed to go into Costco. It is not a, it's not a patty place. I'm not a, first of all, I don't want to be known. If I go shopping, I don't want anyone to know me. I don't want anyone to know what I'm buying. I'm a scan and go girl at Sam's. I don't know if Costco has scan and go, but I'm like scan and go, scan and go. I'm in and out and looking down. I mean, the hair really kind of gives me up, but I really just pretend like nobody knows me. I don't want anyone to know. Mm-mm. I am a sincere person and thank you very much. And I really do appreciate it. But I mean, not everyone has a truck, and I love my truck, so I'm really happy to use it when I can for other people. Oh, Scott. I wish Scott would come on. He doesn't like the sound of his own voice. He doesn't like to see himself, but I'm going to see if he'll come on one time because he really has no time for it. He really has no time for the trivial. And Wendi wants trivial. She wants to have lunch with the ladies and she wants someone else to pay for her way while she has lunch with the ladies. Just like she didn't drink. Yeah. Does it have the bar menu on here? I mean, it's a bar. Mosaic had an entire bar. So it's not like. I wonder who owned it. Look at that. It's a cool bar. I'm going to have to go in the Sunbiz. I wonder who owned it. I wonder if they're still in town. That looks good, right? Now that's a scallop. That looks beautiful. I wonder who owns it. I'll have to look. Oh, well, thank you. It's very nice of you. I'm just Patty. I'm really just Patty. Roscoe is going to be missing his mommy. Well, I have to go home. And I bought I had to go to Sam's because I needed to get a couple things for the office. And I did get one of their chicken pot pies. So I'm just going to eat the inside because I gave up bread for Lent. Which you would think, okay, I have high blood pressure. It shouldn't be. It's like my blood pressure is like 120 over 110. I don't even know what that means. And I was a nurse. And so I can eat the inside of the chicken pot pie. That's what I'm going to do. How did she find the liquor store once she got stopped going down? Obviously, she didn't know how to go down that street. That's funny. It did close. So it closed, but you can use a site called, I'm teaching you all my secrets. So let me show you. It's called the Wayback Machine. And it's part of the Internet Archive. And you can go back and look at anything you want. That's how, what's her face? What is it? Pretty Little Lies and Alibis. Gigi looked up the Adelson Institute. Was here. It says no URL, but it does. I pulled it up before. I can't even print this out. Their name. No URL for this. Oh, let me go. Summary. Adelson Institute, Adelson Galleries. See if this will show it. Oh no, this is really a gallery. So let's do Adelson Institute. The Smile Maker. Stupid asses. They're so stupid. Let's see. There was one capture from 2011. So not everything is captured. So there we go. So that's how Pretty Little Lies and Alibis, I've done it, goes back and shows all of the old photos. So there's Donna. There's Donna. I think that's one of the hygienists. Charlie and Harvey. If you do keto, drop salt and blood pressure like no meds do. I'm not eating bread, and I have given up salt other than, what you need to survive, and it's still high. And I can't cheat because I can't. So she was taking the children to the shower as a backyard barbecue. No, it's not good, Lolly. It's not. She slipped when she said she went down Monroe, and yeah, she did. But anyway, you go to the Wayback Machine. They're trying to give them money, but that's what it looks like. And there's 98 captures. So you just kind of scroll back, and it'll give you a day that if it's okay. So it's 22nd. So there's the Adelson Institute. I don't know what Ruffle is. Heck yeah, she drinks her meal she was drinking that day. Somebody said something about, I was mentioning Pretty Little Lies. Let me see. Well, genetics. I'm already on blood pressure medication, by the way. So that's what's so weird is I'm already on blood pressure medication. Exceptional care by a committed team. Does anyone want to take that one? Really? How many people do you think they did dentistry for that didn't need it? There's Donna. This is what she looks like sitting on the toilet in jail. Think about it. She is done. What a waste. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you for clarifying. Ken Terrell. Ken Terrell owned it. Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate it. Oh, do you? The Cancer Institute. That's amazing. She didn't say anything about her sitter because, like below, she was going to take the boys. In Wendi Ellie interview, she also had lunch receipt for prior day, yet an alibi for prior day, yet she knew the Nipmen were in town. Oh. But yeah, so that's how you can get it. So if you're really like me and you just really want to go back and back and back, and you knew someone like say, um, what was Folis's, what was his name? Jennifer Tukulos. Murder. So you can go back and Julos. What is it? Photos. Okay, so it's photos. And see his stuff. What is it? Photos. No results. What was the name of his? They have a potential buyer. What was the name of his company? The 4 Group. No, they don't have it. Four Group Inc. 4 Group Inc. Well, there we go. So you can look up, you just look for the date. So this is Fotis Doulos' website. So long though, but I mean, it is crawling. It tells you it's crawling. It's not fast. So this is his Fotis Doulos' email. That was his phone, his Facebook. That's a horrible logo. Available homes. But I love this thing. I could literally spend hours just looking at this. I mean, he did build a beautiful home. 15,000 square foot home. Lord have mercy. Colonial. How do you build like that and you have no money? It's unbelievable. You have no money. Well, thank you all for joining me. I got to go home. I do. It was her parents' money, but that's what I don't understand. Like, how did he build like that and have no money? I just don't remember. Yes, if you could hit the like button, that would be kind. If you could hit the like button, tell your friends if you enjoy coming into our little room and chatting with us. Most of this channel is really built on lives. I've done a couple recordings, but I just don't enjoy it as much because I'm just talking to myself, and I can do that in here all the time. So thank you so much. And I will give Roscoe a belly. So I'm going out of town. I'm going to see my I'm seeing one kid in Pennsylvania and my granddaughters. So I'm going the end of this week. So we'll maybe have one more show. I would like to do, maybe I'll do one up there in Pennsylvania and just introduce you to everyone. Oh, well, wasn't she nice? How nice is that? I didn't know. I mean, somebody mentioned that, but I didn't know that. Katie Cool Lady lives in Pennsylvania, but she's not near. I think she's more Lewisburg. She's up north a little bit towards State College than me. So anyway, have a great night. I'm gonna go home and cook a dinner, and I hope you do too. Enjoy your family. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.